Next Level Thinkers. My name is Rush and I'm your host. Today's guest is Bill Wallace, the chairman and CEO of Wallace Companies, and the founder of the largest, longest running, and most successful business group in the North Dallas Metroplex, Success North Dallas.
Hey,
Bill.
good morning.
Good
How
morning,
are you, sir.
And I know you are. There was one other thing I wanted to mention to you. It's also the 33rd year anniversary of your founding the organization. Is that correct?
Right, 33 incredible years, and I thought it'd last 3 to 5 years. I'd pay my dues, and be done with it, and separate myself from the herd, which was the whole objective. And the big guy upstairs got a hold of it. It's still going. And, you know, we work diligently to create a safe space, a place where people can come and be themselves and network with high-level people without having card pushers, pitch bookers, salespeople all hitting on them.
Yeah.
And literally, we've eliminated those and created something that was far beyond my imagination. You know, back in March of 1988, my mentor, Herb Kelleher, said to me, quote, "Wallace, when you figure out why I should do business with you, come back and tell me." So I set out on a mission in March of 83 to go to as many networking groups as I could in North Texas and find out what the people did not like and eliminate all of that. And it was just under 50 networking groups that I visited. And I saw things that I couldn't even believe. With people, decks of cards, their cards in their hands, and they're just passing them out like you do at a poker table. And I watched the people take these cards and put them in the pocket. I'd go up and say, "Okay, you put that card in that pocket. Why?" "Well, so I could throw it away. I was dealt the card. I don't want it."
Yeah.
People shove cards in people's faces and walk around like that. And then people with their pitch books out, people doing crazy things. And we just worked diligently. We created 3 points as qualifications for membership. Be a success in your own eyes. I nor anyone else has any right to define what success is for you. Then be a giver. It's all about our fellow men and women. And honor your commitments. Let's go back to the handshake. That's what it's all about. So think about it. Be a success in your own eyes, honor your commitments, and be a giver. How could it be any simpler? And so I looked at these things. They were card pushers. They were pitch bookers out there selling their wares. Selling wares from the lectern, selling in the room. A friend of mine said, so no coins change hands in the temple. And I said, I hadn't thought about it like that. But you're right. So in this list, the last thing was women. Back in 1988, women were not welcome in networking. And so I looked at this, and I'm looking at Herb, and we're talking, and Roger Meyer, the largest Cadillac dealer in the Southwest, was my other mentor. And I got down to women. Herb said yes. And I said, no, I'm going to have women. And he said, Bill, you're going to have a big problem. And I said, no, sir, I'm going to have a huge problem because we're going to be 30% women from day one. And he looked at me, and if you know the history of Southwest Airlines, he said, well, heck, Wallace, I gave them hot pants and booze. You give them women and networking. I had no idea what that really meant until our 25th anniversary, the only lunch we've ever done. Ambridge Hotels paid for the whole thing. It was a celebration. Ross Perot Sr. welcomed. Boone Pickens hosted. We had the CEOs of Fluor, USAA, 7-Eleven, and BNSF on the dais, and we honored Nancy Lieberman. And Rush, one of my proudest moments, when I turned and looked out at that audience, it was 50% women.
Wow.
And I remembered back to what Herb said, create transformational change through disruption. And ladies, you are my disruptor, and you're why this month we're celebrating 33 years of Success North Dallas, of bringing in the best of the best and the speakers from literally all over the world. And we have never paid a speaker or their expenses. They come because of you, the people in the room, the people that have started over 100 companies, 1,200 jobs, 8 Ernst & Young Entrepreneurs of the Year. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of, 85 of us mentor and formalize mentoring programs, knowing that we've got to bring that next generation in. We've got to support them. We've got to give to them. And we do it well. But it's all about network.
Yeah.
It's all about networking.
It is, yeah. It's interesting because I have so many questions, and you kind of covered them all in one little soundbite. But there are some questions. First, let's rewind a little bit, okay? And let's talk about like when you knew, okay, that the moment you said you looked and you saw 50% women, right? You're like, that's you knew you were on the right track with Success North Dallas.
The room had 440 people.
Oh my God!
So
Okay.
that means we had over 200 people, 200 women in the room.
Yeah. Wow.
It was absolutely fabulous. And when you think about networking is boom, 2 people meet each other. There's an 80% chance both cards are going to go in the trash can. A 95% chance at least one is. So think about it, that first encounter. You do something, you ask a question, you show interest in the other person, and that dialogue that starts and continues on gives you the opportunity to move to what I consider the next level of networking. And that is when you start weaving networks together, net weaving. And in the net weaving, for instance, when I weave with Rush's network, I'm now weaving with all the other networks he has. And when he weaves with mine, the same thing. And the growth is exponential. And then what I feel to be the highest level of networking is the servant leadership, which is the third. And that's when I meet Rush or you. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, who might I introduce Rush to that would help him better himself, go further, or that he could help that other person? And believe me, when you lead with the servant leadership, how can I help? That's the mentality. So we have the networking, we have the net weaving, and then we have the servant leadership, where you're leading with how can I help? It always goes back to how can I be helped? Because that's the essence of servant leadership. We live by 3 R's, with a 4th tagged on: reach, relevancy, and reciprocity. What's your reach, Rush? And what makes that reach relevant? And the reciprocity is, what is your give? And we tie that all together in both CSuite, of which I'm a part, and Success North Dallas, with a ribbon around it of respect. And that's the bow around the reach, relevancy, and reciprocity.
That's wow. It's such a that's such a dynamic way to describe it when I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it. And now hearing you, I can see now. It's kind of like I can see the map. Like you kind of drew an outline for me. He goes, oh, okay, this is what's going on here. Because I actually, as you know, I've attended one of your events, recently, and I made one connection that was sitting next to me, and he's part of. We created a series together, which is we're getting started video series about entrepreneurship, and he's the host of the series. So that started off with that, and he's expanding that to his to professionals that he knows in that capacity. He's bringing those guests in, and he's interviewing them and giving them a platform to talk about what they're great at. So that's really cool. So that's what you're talking about.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
When I look out in the audience, I see Chris Hill, Pinnacle Graphics. He started his business in our room 28 years ago. I see Jan Klodner, that started his business 27 years ago. I see multiple people in the room that have started businesses by a conversation at the table.
Yeah.
A safe space to talk about what you really want, who you really are, and you're not going to get hit on. Not in my room.
Right.
At all.
Yeah. I sense that it was really a friendly environment for sure. Okay, so I have a question. I have questions for you. I want to ask you specifically I want to make the shift to business questions,
All
right?
right.
Okay. We're noticing a shift in company culture, right? Like we're seeing this dynamic. The shift is company culture is changing every day, right? What are two things that you think from people that go to your events, business executives? What are two tools they need to have to be successful in those shifts in company culture?
The first thing is they have to acknowledge the shift, and many haven't.
Hmm.
Last year was a year of tremendous opportunity, but most people were sitting on the sidelines waiting for tomorrow while winners were out there winning because they saw the shift. Last year was a grandiose year of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, it had a lot of downs, but for the people that got out there, there was huge opportunity. I had a tremendous year last year. I had a tremendous first quarter, but back in March of last year, we said, what do we need to do to play in this game?
Right.
And we looked at it, we figured it out. We talked to the people at Zoom. How do you do it? What's the best way to do it? So I think it was the acknowledgement and then the embracing of the change. Everybody's gone back and settled in on the word pivot. It's time to pivot, pivot, pivot. No, ridiculous. Change, if you think about it, is the only thing that's been constant in your life, my life, your lives. So we embrace the change. So I think that's the first one. You've got to embrace it and acknowledge it. The second one is you've got to be a team player. You've got to bring your team in and lead your team, giving them the ownership, not by stock, but by helping you make the decisions to make this transition into this grandiose, as I said, land of opportunity that we have right now and we had all of last year. So embracing the change and then selling the change.
Okay.
And leading your team by letting them help you make the decisions and share the ownership, because everybody was scared.
Right.
But when they get into the decision-making side, it lessens that fear and increases their confidence.
Awesome. Okay, now we talk about leadership development, right? Your organization supports leadership development. What kind of tools do you guys, the Success North Dallas and the CSuite Network, provide for the executives that come to the events?
I think the one-word description could be access, because no matter how great your widget is, how many PhDs you have, how great your idea is, without access, you have nothing. So I think access would be the number one, and that's why we created Success North Dallas. That's why we created CSuite back at the Fairmont Hotel in Dallas in 2014 to gain access. That would be the first, I think, and most important. And in this climate of mask, of not getting out, access is lessened. The ability cannot be just you, but a huge thing. Nobody's going to market your brand but you. Nobody's going to build a brand for you but you. I don't care if you work for Google or you work for Street Sweeper Inc. That's not your brand. Your brand is you. So you have to be constantly building your own brand. You have to become your own marketing department. You've got to get out there, because if you're not accessible, if I can't find you, what are we going to do? Nothing.
Yeah.
Once I find you, once you're accessible, that's the first day. You have to be approachable. You have to welcome me into your space. You have to make me feel like I'm the most important person there. You can't be looking over your shoulder to see who else is back there in the room that I need to talk to. You need to make right eye to right eye contact, just like we are now.
Yeah.
You need to have your name tag on the right side so people see it when you shake hands. So you're accessible. I have to be able to find you. You're approachable. And then the final A of those three A's is accountable. Dot, 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 to the relationship that you're building from the first encounter. And rest assured, you don't know when that'll occur.
Right.
You know, you're the video expert. You're coming in. I'm the speaker. We both cut off somebody in the parking lot. We don't even mention it to them. We don't even acknowledge that they're there. And we walk in, and the next thing that these people in the audience, those people in that car see, are you and I. I'm walking on stage. You're doing the camera, and they're thinking, those people, blank, 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 cut us off in the parking lot. And they're not going to hear a word we say.
Yeah.
So you have to be accountable to that relationship that begins from the first encounter. So the first day, accessible. The second day, I got to find you approachable. You got to love on me.
Yeah.
And then I'll love on you back. And then you've got to be accountable to that relationship. No matter when it starts, you don't know.
Right.
And it may be your next $1 million client that was sitting in the parking, that was sitting in that car. So, you know, I use an example when I'm speaking, and it is this. Is it not the passion which you embrace your significant other that governs the passion which that embraces return? Think about it. Is it not the passion which you embrace your significant other that governs the passion which that embraces return? Are you embracing your clients like that? Are you embracing your prospects? Most importantly, are you embracing your current customers like that? When you go back and analyze that statement, it could make a difference in your entire company and your entire future. Because I think that's really, in this marketplace, what it's all about. Quite candidly, personally, if I have a video Zoom that I'm getting ready to get on, and I hear of an opportunity to go to an in-person meeting, I'm out, I'm gone. Even if it's 5 people at the corner 7-Eleven, because I'm looking to embrace people. And people are dying to get out. So look for those opportunities like Success North Dallas, like CSuite, like our Hero Club. The C-Suite will take you around the world, 200,000 members. The Hero Club is only founders, owners, and investors. And we have a very small group, but we meet virtually weekly, looking at the opportunities that are out there. C-Suite has multiple virtual meetings around the U.S. every week. But we're going back. We were just in Rapid City, South Dakota. We're going back to the in-person meetings. We just had one in L.A. I think we've got one coming up at Disney. So we do these things. Success North Dallas, we anchor in Dallas. We are a foundational group. We've met for 26 years, 26 of those 33 years at Prestonwood Country Club. And every group needs a hat hanger. You need something to talk about.
Right.
Well, we've presented the Dallas Police Officer of the Year Award now for 21 years. And you look at, the inflection points in the growth of an organization. Something we can talk about later, but it's very important to acknowledge those opportunities for change. Those are inflection points. And you can either go this way or you can go this way. The choice is yours.
That's awesome. Okay, so talking about your C-Suite network, right? For those that don't know, that haven't, they're just not familiar with terminologies of business and at a certain level. What is this when you refer to C-Suite? What is that?
CSuite Network is a group of people. We started it here at the Fairmont Hotel. Mm-hmm. It's run and owned by Jeff Hazlett, former CMO at Kodak, the Kodak Apprentice, on The Apprentice, a judge on The Apprentice at one point, has been involved in over 250 different companies in the buy-sell, the growth, the nurturing. And he called me up and he said, I've got this idea. And he said, I'd like to start it in Dallas. Can you get a couple of hundred people? I'll bring in 100 from out of town. I said, sure, Jeff. And so we started it at the Fairmont Hotel, 2.5 days, and March of 2014. And it has grown exponentially. Last year we grew 450% because we pivoted our 4 in-person events, one in Napa, one in South Carolina, one in Florida, and one in Washington. We pivoted those and took them to be virtual. Well, by virtual, we had 3 times the attendance we were going to have in person.
Wow.
At our battleship forum in Norfolk, Virginia, instead of 2 admirals, we had 6.
Wow.
So it just works that way, and it's an opportunity. We have a geographic council. We have a Lone Star Council here, and we meet via Zoom monthly. We've done several in-person events. We have people from all over Texas as a part of that. So, if you want to know more about that, you can email me, bill@successnorthdallas.com, and I'll be happy to share that. We can put you on the mailing list for C-Suite. And if you want to get on the mailing list for Success North Dallas, we meet the 3rd Wednesday of every month from 7 to 9 a.m. at Prestonwood Country Club on Preston Road in Dallas. Just go to our website, successnorthdallas.com, and sign up for the emails to stay in the know. We'll do a happy hour usually every month. We just had one at Bavette in North Dallas, in North Plano actually, at Granite Park. We had over 100 people last Wednesday. We have one coming up at the Lorenzo Hotel, one at Prestonwood, one at the Virgin Hotel, a golf course.
Yeah, wow.
Just
sounds like
so
fun.
We do things that allow people to come together other than just in the major meetings where we have a speaker.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yes, it does help. Yeah. This is the first time, you and I have known each other for quite a bit, and we know each other like recreationally. We're out in the community hanging out or whatever, right? And this is the first time we've had a great opportunity to sit down and talk about Success North Dallas, about the CSuite Network, and everything that it represents in the community and nationally too, and internationally as well. So it's been a pleasure to sit down and talk with you about this stuff and learn more and dig a little bit deeper on who you are and how you feel and share some of your knowledge with us. So I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to us.
Well, I kind of think it's been interesting because the quality of your interview, the staging that you set up, and the fact that I don't know how many people have a master's in videography. What is your master's exactly?
My master's is in technology, so I do learning technology. Yeah, I'm a master's in learning technology, and I have a film degree as well. So yeah,
and a film degree.
Yeah,
well,
digital production.
You're doing it right, my friend. This has
it.
Really been a pleasure.
I appreciate it, and it's a pleasure to sit down and talk with people like you that are connecting people and that are just providing people an opportunity to advance their voice, their life, and their career. And it's been a very rewarding experience to sit down and hear you talk and other people like you talk. So I appreciate it.
Well, may I have the honor of closing out the show the way I close out every talk and every Success North Dallas meeting? Ladies and gentlemen, may you do what you love to do with people you love to do it with on purpose. God bless and Godspeed. Thank you, sir. Thank you, audience.
Thank you, guys.